Hi guys, this is Ahmad. This is our class number 4 in chapter 2. In our previous class, we have discussed about query pruning and clustering. Now, we are aware of what is clustering. Clustering is sorting the records in micro partitions based on the keys which we frequently use in where conditions or which we frequently use in joining with other tables. In the past class, we understood that query pruning and clustering works hand in hand. So before clearly understanding what is clustering, first we'll see how the Snowflake stores the data inside the micro partitions. So I'm going to the picture which shows how the records got stored in micro partitions. These are the records in the file. When I have loaded this file into the table, so in what fashion they came into the Snowflake, so in that particular order they got stored. Sorting improves the performance of our queries. Let's see what will happen when we apply the clustering on the tables. Let's go to this picture. Okay, so now when you apply clustering on date and type field, so what happens? Snowflake takes the data, reads the data from the micro partitions because the table is already populated. So it starts reading the data which is in the micro partitions and it sorts based on the date and type, and then the sorted data will be arranged in micro partitions. If you clearly observe here, we have 4 micro partitions. Those are used to store the actual data. So when it is doing the clustering, it altogether uses new micro partitions. Once the clustering is done, the old micro partitions will be deleted. Now let's create a table with clustering keys. To do that, let's jump on web interface. So this is how we can create a table with clustering keys. So I am creating a table here, customer underscore new, and here I am specifying cluster by clause and then on what column I want to cluster this table. Now let me create this table. Yes, done. And let's get the DDL, and you will see here cluster by clause defined. So it meaning this table is cluster table. Now we can change the cluster keys by using alter table command. So alter table name and cluster by and specify other column name on which you want to cluster. So you can use this alter table statement to change your clustering key, and you can even drop the clustering key using alter table command. Alter table name and say drop, and clustering key is the keyword. Now if you see the table structure, you don't find here now cluster by clause. So it means the clustering is removed. Now the question is, how do I know a given table is clustered or not? So we can get that information from show tables command, or we can query our information schema. So if I run this particular command, what happens? It will display information about all the tables in the current schema. So I ran this particular query, and here is a column called cluster by. It tells us whether the object is clustered or not. So if you see some value, so meaning this particular table is clustered. And another way is querying information schema in the particular database. So I am running this statement, and you will see here there are 4 objects with the name called customer, and you will see here this particular table is clustered. And when you define a table with clustering keys and left, what does it means is you are asking Snowflake to take care of reclustering. So when you create a table with clustering keys, Snowflake starts monitoring DMLs running on that particular table. If Snowflake finds there is a benefit, if it performs the clustering, it will start clustering. So this is actually a chargeable service. So now my question is, what I need to create a table, and do I need to left reclustering to the Snowflake? No, you can even cluster manually. So how should I perform the clustering manually? So for that, what you need to do is, first take the backup of your table and delete the records from the old table in the sense on which you want to apply the clustering. Delete all the records and then insert into the existing table saying select star from your backup table. This time you say order by. So and we can see the bill for auto clustering by querying our one of the metadata table from account usage schema. So this is how we can query the auto clustering bills. Automatic clustering history, where table name is equal to, and this is our table which is clustered. Snowflake dot account usage. Oh, I'm sorry, we should give only the table name. These are the credits consumed when Snowflake is performing auto clustering on this particular table. So here in this table, basically Snowflake only talks in terms of credits. So how can we convert these credits into dollars? We will discuss in the going forward classes. So in the coming classes, we will see more about this Snowflake database, and here you will see the database. And this database contains usage of all the Snowflake services and their charges. So to go to automatic clustering history view, so you can you can go through Snowflake account usage and then you can go to automatic clustering history. So it is at the top. Okay. Suppose think that I don't want to do the clustering and reclusterings manually. So I want this task to be done by Snowflake. So in that case, what I can do, I can create a table with clustering key, and that's it. I can leave it for Snowflake. So once the clustering is done, I want to suspend. I don't want Snowflake to do the reclustering. So in that case, I can submit a statement to ask Snowflake not to recluster this particular table again. That's how I want to save the bills. Okay, so we can run this statement to suspend the auto clustering from the Snowflake side. So after a year, so I can again resume, so that Snowflake will again do the reclustering for us. And after a week period, so what I can do, I can suspend it. Okay. When you create clustering keys on a table, Snowflake collects some metadata about the clustering table and keep available that data in the data dictionary. That helps when it is performing the reclustering in future. So what metadata it stores in data dictionary? That is number of micro partitions in that particular table, number of partitions which has the overlapped values, and the depth of overlapping partitions. Basically, to see the effectiveness of the clustering, so the depth of overlapping partitions and the number of partitions which has the overlapping values, it helps. So let's see like what is partitions which has the overlapping values and the depth of overlapping partitions. When you loaded the file, you have the records of marketing here. You have the records of marketing here. This is how you have the values, overlapping values in all the micro partitions. Think your table has 5 micro partitions and it has the overlapping values in every micro partition. Then we can say the number of micro partitions which has the overlapping values are 5, and the depth of micro partitions, you just count the number of micro partitions which has the overlapping values 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The depth of micro partition which has overlapping values are 5. So think that your file is loaded into the Snowflake table in this fashion. So what happened here, 2 micro partitions don't have any overlapping values, but whereas these three micro partitions has the overlapping values. In that case, you can say you have overlapping values in 3 micro partitions, and this is the depth of the partitions which have overlapped values. Think that your file got stored in this fashion in your Snowflake table. In this case, you can say like the number of micro partitions which has the overlapping values are 1, 2, 3. These 3 have some overlapping values. But whereas when it comes to the depth of overlapping is 1, 2. Here again 1, 2. So think that you have clustered a table. Think that your file got stored in Snowflake in this fashion. So in this situation, so you see there are no overlapping partitions at all. So there is no micro partition which has the overlapped values. So we can say a number of micro partitions which are having like overlapping values are 0. Finally, we can say that any populated table has the depth either equal to 1 or greater than 1. The depth of overlapping partitions in an empty table is always 0. Yeah, one more point I want to tell you is that this depth of overlapping partitions and the number of partitions which has the overlapping values is not at all the performance indicator. The ultimate performance indicator is how fast your query is finishing. If your query is running slow, meaning the clustering is not good in your table. So in that case, you likely need to create the clustering keys on that particular table, or you already have the clustering keys on that particular table. Again, you need to go for the reclustering. Now we will talk about 2 system functions which help us to understand the situation of clustering in a given table. So these are the 2 functions we have. Let me use these functions and let's go through the result of these functions. I am jumping onto web interface. So this is my clustering depth function. So what this statement tells is, I want to find how this particular column is sorted currently in this particular table. I know that this particular table is not clustered, but still I want to see what is the situation of clustering on this particular column. So I am going to run this statement. Let's see how much clustering depth it is going to show. So the clustering depth is, so it means like we have a lot of overlapping values. You may ask me that how come we have a lot of overlapping values? Because it's a unique key on that particular table. Answer to your question is, Snowflake is not going to have the information on individual customer key values. It will make the ranges, it will make the intervals. Based on the interval values, it will identify the overlapping partitions. Okay. Now let's run the same statement on a cluster table. The depth of overlapping values is 3. We have another function called clustering depth. This function provides all the information about clustering. Now I am running this particular function on the table which is not clustered. So I want to see the clustering information on this particular key. So the result of this particular function comes in JSON format, and let's try to understand its result. So what it is saying is total number of micro partitions for this particular table is 625, and the total number of constant partitions are 0, meaning if you do the reclustering, so 625 all the micro partitions will get the benefit. Okay, it specifies the number of micro partitions which will not get benefit if you do the reclustering. So average overlap, this tells the number of micro partitions which has the overlapping values, that is 564 point something. These number of micro partitions has overlapping values by average. Average depth of overlapping values are 451 micro partitions, and they have given here a histogram. The way we need to understand is there are 624 micro partitions which has the average depth from 256 to 512. Okay, now let's run the same statement on clustered table. Let's diagnose the result here, and what it is saying is total number of micro partitions 615 and the total number of constant partition count is 0, meaning if you recluster, all 615 micro partitions will get the benefit, and average overlaps are 3 point something. So this is the average number of micro partitions which has the overlapping values. Average depth of micro partitions which has the overlapping values are 3, and if you look at the histogram, it tells there are 40 micro partitions which are having the depth of 0 to 1, and if you take this value, there are 130 micro partitions which has the average overlapping depth between 3 to 4. And finally, I want to tell you something about this clustering. This clustering is finally a trade-off on what column you need to apply the clustering. So this is all comes with a trade-off. Suppose if you choose a column which is having more unique values, so with this what happens, you will get efficient query pruning that helps more in where conditions, that helps in the queries where you are joining with other tables. This helps a lot in aggregations. To perform the aggregations, you need to perform the group by. In the group by operations, it helps a lot whenever you apply the clustering key on the columns which are having more cardinality. Okay, so which is the best candidate to apply the clustering keys? It depends on how you want to optimize what are operations involved in your query. Okay, so that's all for this class, and see you. Take care.